So, do you have any question at this point?
None.
No, I don't have a question.
Not at all.
All right. So now, let's go on. Threat, something that can cause harm, vulnerability, weakness, impact, the damage or effect, change if exploited. If you remember, yesterday class, we talked about CIA. Under the CIA, we talked about the problem or the enemy or opposite of CIA. Who can help me out with those things that we talked about? Who can help me out? The opposite of CIA.
Mm.
I want somebody to talk. Let's try. There's no crime, when you try. It doesn't hurt, just sometimes you may say something interesting, that other people can enjoy, gain from. I can gain from it. I just want it to be interactive, so I'll not be the only one talking. So, what did we talk about when we were discussing CIA yesterday? You want me to help you out? Huh?
Please do. I'm trying to juggle my memory on that.
You need to know it is very, very important. CIA. You know that anytime there's an attack, the attack is after the CIA. Do you know that? So what would be the attack? What's the meaning of CIA? Who can tell me? What's the meaning of CIA? It's like we are all tired, we're feeling sleepy. Should we end the class?
No. It's the acronym I'm trying to remember.
Confidentiality, integrity, and availability.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. So, confidentiality, integrity, availability. So, when we were talking about this yesterday, what do we say will be the enemy that can put those three things, get them into trouble? What did we say? If you remember, I created a scenario between the US and the Iran. I said, Iran doesn't care if they are building their nuclear plant, whatever. They don't care. And if you remote and do some modification, they still don't really care. But they care about one thing. What was that thing they care about? They care about the availability of their nuclear plant. Today, the nuclear plant has been badly damaged by B-2 bomber. As a result, it's affecting their economy. The Iranian said they don't want the government again, considering all the pressures everywhere in the country, restriction, Germany, they cannot dance, they cannot have fun. A lot of them want to drink, a lot of them want to party, a lot of them want to go to clubs. They restricted them. Why? Why did you see? if you look at it in life, all these cybersecurity triad, the CIA, anytime one of it affects human being, they fight. The Iranian, they are not allowed to enjoy themselves, to go to club, to drink, to dress, to allow fresh air enter their body. What happened? They do not have access to availability to be able to get themselves available to anything they want to do. It's been restricted. They want freedom. They want it because freedom is not available. Because it's not available, there's problem. The little freedom, those when I get little freedom, is what we call altered, is altered, not perfect freedom. Not perfect freedom. That's why they are not happy. Now, America got there. It made sure that the nuclear plant is not available again. What happened? They want to fight with everybody they see because they are frustrated. So now, I remember somebody told me yesterday when I said, what could have been the problem of confidentiality? That person told me disclosure of information. That's the problem. Disclosure. So, and I asked, what about integrity? He said to me, alteration. People guys were flowing yesterday, alteration. So, where is the vibe? Where's the energy today? I want that to continue. So, when it comes to availability, what is that? Denial of service. Denial. So, you now see that when hacker come into your system, those are the things they target. They send ransomware to encrypt your computer. You cannot get to your computer, they ask you to pay. What happened? Availability is done. You are not sure of your data will be complete. And you are not sure of your confidentiality again because a stranger is blocking your thing. How are you sure your thing will be safe? That's the question. So that is why that this job, nothing will take it won't go away. It's always there. If you look at far back during this guy, Alexander the Great, they use cipher to communicate. What is cipher addressing? It's addressing confidentiality and integrity. So if Alexandra send a message to another emperor in another place, they will send it through another person to deliver the key. So if the key enter, it does not open, that means something is wrong with that. So cybersecurity has been there for a long time, but because it wasn't on the net, on the electronics, so we cannot say cybersecurity, we call it information security. So that's why information security is larger and older than cybersecurity. So cybersecurity is under information security. So now, threat simply means anything that can impact your confidentiality is a threat. Integrity is a threat. Availability is a threat. So now, let me now give you an example. If Microsoft every Tuesday releases their KB is their security patch. They call it, is it patch Tuesday or Wednesday? I don't know what they call it. When I used to do patching, they will release it. That means that you just have to go to their website, download that security patch into your system. Because you know why you trust them? Because they are going to give you hash. Hash is all about integrity. We're going to see when it's time comes, I'll show you how to create hash. You see how to create hash. Even you see how you can hide a message inside your picture. You had a message in your picture and I'll send it to you. somebody doesn't know about it, we don't know that there's a message inside a picture, but you will only know because you'll be aware that I'm going to send you. You know, all those things, even in video, you hide a message inside a video. So, you know, all those things, the world of cybersecurity is now beyond those kind of things, you know. I'm just trying to just let us know those things are doable. Now, if I do not patch my KB, next day, 1 week, 2 weeks, what happened? It is a threat. That's a threat. And nothing will happen though, because it is not a risk yet, but it's a threat because it has not been exploited. If it's exploited, it now becomes a risk. But at that point, it's a threat. How does that threat come into that to play? Because it comes with vulnerability. Vulnerability. So if you take away vulnerability from something, then the threat will go with it. But if the vulnerability exists, then the threat is, then the hacker will now look for that vulnerability. When they exploit it, that means they have exploited the threat. So whatever impact that comes with the threat will tell you the magnitude, you know, it will not describe the magnitude of that risk. So for example, now, you have a big house, you're very rich. You can keep your money anywhere in your house, in your living room, anywhere. What happened? You enter your house, you did not close your gates. Your door was partially open. And you are drunk, you're sleeping. Let's look at this situation. Who can tell me the vulnerability in that situation? If I want to see if you guys are listening to me. What are the vulnerabilities in that situation? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, what are the vulnerabilities in that situation? I said you have a big house and you have money in your house. You can have your money in your living room. You drove in, you did not lock the gate. And you open your door, partially closed, and you are drunk. So what's the vulnerability in that situation?
The money will be taken away. It can be robbed. And if I'm to use, I mean, the money will be available to be taken away.
What?
The money will be available to be taken away.
The money may be taken away.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I know, but I'm saying, what is the vulnerability?
Try to lie.
What?
It's weakness.
Yes. What's the vulnerability there? Because if you look at it now, we said that somebody said the money can be taken away, right? That means that the vulnerability has been exploited. You know, the vulnerability has been exploited. Because the vulnerability is exploited, that means the money is taken away, and which is the risk that we want to take away from there. But there should be something that open up that allow that threat to become a risk. So I'm not saying that without there. Let me write it on the screen so that make it more visual. we can see something. See. So based on this, let's answer it. I've tried to bring it
Unlock
up.
it.
So I said a rich man comes back home with his gate unlocked, door partially open, and is drunk. So Shana said, what are the vulnerabilities?
Unlock it. Partially open door. And being drunk.
Being drunk, yeah. Because if he's drunk, he's not in his right sense to respond to whatever attack that might arise. So being drunk is a vulnerability. And of course, the fact that the door is partially open will call attention to outsiders to come in.
So these are the vulnerabilities.
Affects his money.
So at the same time, different vulnerabilities, if it's exploited, what will it become? If they are exploited, they become the risk. So it become the risk if they are exploited. So what happened? That means that if you take away vulnerability, there'll be no risk. But if you don't take it away, it becomes a threat to this thing, asset. Become a threat to your asset. It is not a threat to the risk. It's a threat to this asset. So the relationship here between these two exists, what we call threats. There's a thin line between them. It can transform all of a sudden. You will not know within a twinkling of an eye. It's just like somebody who's drunk, standing at the edge of maybe Atlantic Ocean Bridge. So what happened? The person may fall inside the water anytime, and the shark will just feast on that person. What happened? Somebody can just call 911. They come and rescue the person. So there's a thin line between when it happened and when it does not happen. So the asset in this situation, the man's life is one of the assets. Because the man can be killed, or they'll cut away his gold, his jewelries, things that are valuables, priceless things in his house. They'll cut them away. So those things are the asset. And what do you think are the control to protect those things in this scenario?
One, shut the gates.
One,
Door closed.
two,
Close the door. And then avoid being drunk.
yes, it should be at alert. Those three things. Those are the control. So you can see that control sometimes can become vulnerabilities if you do not use them properly.
The absence of control.
It's just like you are locking your door. When you pull the key into the keyhole, you were supposed to lock the key from the inside. You now lock it, you now put it from the outside. You did not remove it. You close the door, you go. And something that's supposed to protect you inside, you left it outside. Then another person can come and take advantage of it. Like when we were talking about the password issue the other day. That is why it is good for us to understand, what control is applicable. That is when we go through this, I'm going to talk about one framework along the line. That framework, we open our eyes wide. So we'll be able to understand. If we can study that one alone, I don't think we'll struggle when we need to get a job. This training too, I'm preparing you at the same time for any certification you want to take, so that you can get it one time. So any question here before I move to the next one? We are still on week 1. We're still looking at the domain, security risk management domain. This is week 1 topic we're still treating.
Okay, for this, you just spoke about the control.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility to have one thing in place? Now, when we talk about situations like this, you are looking at it holistically, irrespective of the location, country, wherever you are. Let's say, for instance, in a country like Africa, an evolving economy where having a security like somebody who mounts your gate. I'm using the scenario of the wealthy man you just used now. Is there a way? Obviously, there should be a way where you have one control that takes care of everything.
Okay.
Is that a question, or I don't understand? Are you asking a specific question, or you're trying to? I don't understand.
I think it's asking a question that in a situation, is there a way that we have an umbrella of a control, a control that control every, this kind of situation? That I cannot answer that one. The only thing that can help you to answer that one is when you come to categorization. So on the categorization, for example, now, let's say I want to build a prison system. Now, the question that I will ask, who are the type of the people that will be your prisoner here? If you tell me, oh, they're going to be area boys, when I want to raise control of area boys will be different from you telling me that the senator that are criminal that are coming there, the chairman of a local government are coming there, governors are coming there. The control for that prison will be different from area boys. Because area boys, what will happen, I'll put sophisticated gun there, we'll get a dog, we'll get a man, get a CCTV camera. But when it comes to this governor bodies, they'll just bribe those people standing there. Just give them money and they'll be sitting in their home and nobody will be in the prison. You can see. So a control that you have to design will be the one that they cannot bypass. So that is why we always do system categorization. And you can't do system categorization if you don't understand all these little steps that I'm teaching now. We cannot do it. Because if I do categorization, you'll be thrown off, you will not understand what the
So I
essence.
think, Dr. Olu, I think based on what you are teaching, when you were talking about the man has a house, has a mansion, coming drunk and all that, I think
Yeah,
what he's asking, from what I think, is the physical controls, because they have technical controls, administrative controls. This is
That's
a
correct.
case of physical control, based on the scenario that you gave. Is that what
You
you're asking?
give. That's exactly what I'm asking.
Okay, yeah, okay, because I figured out because of the scenario, yes. So these are physical controls. There are technical controls, administrative controls, and I'm sure Dr. Olu will break all those ones down as we go ahead. Yes, but this is a case of physical control.
yeah. So thank you very much for that input. I appreciate that. So if that's what you're talking about, yes, I think he has helped us out in that area. In addition to what he just mentioned, like those country you talked about, in my own study, I always call them TOM, TOM, TOM. I call them technical, operational, then managerial control. So the managerial control is what he called administrative control. Okay. The physical control, when you say physical, when you go to bank, like bank, before you get to bank, you go through one door, you know, that door is a physical control. We tell you that it only allow one person at a time. You cannot allow two persons. Why? Maybe they commit crime, they want to go. Two persons cannot enter at once. You have to wait patiently. So that's a delay tactics too, those kind of things. And we're still going to understand which control will serve as preventative control, detective control, compensating control, all of those things. You're going to understand them very well, like I think he has a better understanding, of those kind of control where we are still going. So I think this class will be like a revision for him. So is that, are we good with
No,
that?
Dr. Olu, no. I'm learning from you, sir. Don't put me on that this thing. I'm a student. I'm learning from you.
All right, let's continue. So now let's look at this one. It's a risk assessment cycle. Everything has a cycle. I know maybe someone with accounting background, they will have bookkeeping with their cycle when they will be retired. When you purchase inventory, you go through the first phase, which is acquisition, usage, decommissioning, which is a cycle. So the same thing with scripts, it has a cycle. You identify, that's the first stage. Under the identification, that's what we talked about. You do the assessment, you plan your response, then you do monitoring. Monitoring simply means that the fact that all is well, you don't go and sleep. You just have to go and check again. It's just like when you are in your house every night, when your family go to sleep, you're about to go to sleep, you wake up, you go and check all the knobs of the door. That does not mean that they have not locked it in your presence. But because you are the last man standing, you want to go, you still go and check. So that's how risk all about. When the manager, the management director, they say, we have done a great job. You had the control, the last person to go and sleep. You go and check it one by one. Then you go and sleep. so the same thing they are telling us here, that is what I just explained is still under identify asset. And that asset, you do, you assess the risk, plan the response, you do monitoring or review. That's the another one. Then the other one say identify the threat and vulnerabilities. We have a different framework. That framework can help you to do what say identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. You can see a lot inside. So when somebody is doing, when they say they want you as a risk manager in their company, so to tell you, okay, can you give us a life scenario, how you manage organization? Then you speak to it as, okay, you are used to different framework. You know how to use ISO, I think ISO 27001. Then you can use NIST 853, you can use it. And you use some of the code too when it comes to technology, OT technology, all of that. Then you say, okay, one thing you do, you just have to identify the asset. What can because somebody who's working in the bank, your asset is different from somebody who's working in a beer parlor, or somebody who is working in waterworks, or somebody who is working oil and gas. Because in bank, you may have intellectual property as your asset. Then what kind of intellectual property you have? Because they have levels. Somebody intellectual property may worth $1 million. Another person may worth $1 billion. So they have levels. You need to understand the level, the value. That's why when you identify the asset, you assign value to it. So if the management agree with the value, then that's the value of the asset. You need to work with that. Then you now say that, okay, now we have this intellectual property worth $100 billion. Who could be who could be the threat? Okay, the threat could be maybe Asian country. They're only trying to steal our technology. Then this Asian country, who do they have like nationwide activists, cybersecurity sponsored by the government? Yes. How sophisticated are they? How they are sophisticated. So you know that asset worth a lot. Then you know that you're going to rate it as high system or high value system. So high value system, they have their own controls. The control that you have to tailor into them. You have to include them, tell them, look at that. And meanwhile, the fact that they are very high value system does not mean that all the control will go for them. You ask question. Oh, we don't need this. Oh, yes, we know that they are those intellectual property. Where are they kept? Okay, they are kept in a barrack. Why is it a barrack? Because we have a branch inside the barrack. So automatically, you know that when it comes to perimeter, they are secured. Because if you have a bank in the barrack, they have to protect everything within there. And you in the bank, you have CCTV camera. So there's no need for you to say you want to buy a dog, a wash dog, or an expert who will train a dog that will take the dog around the banking hall. No, the bank, they have their own security. You may choose not to use any human security, just put CCTV camera. That's okay. So you can see, based on the environment, you have eliminated the use of getting guards to sit down there, which is what what we have just done is what we call tailoring out. You tailor out control. That's the language you use. Tailor out, you tailor in. Why? Maybe due to over categorization or under categorization. Because when it's over categorized, the system becomes too difficult for people to use. And people want something that is user friendly. They tend to boycott. When they boycott, they are breaking your system. So the essence of those control becomes useless. So you have to think about those users. 3, you determine the likelihood and the impact. So we talked about this one the other day. That's when we talked about quantitative and qualitative. You look at it, if it is monetary something, you assign value to it. If it is not, maybe just say low, moderate, high, all of that. So if the system is high, you say it will cost us also amount of money because of the high impact you have in it. If it is low, just say you just forget about the loss, things like that. Then that's what we talk about calculating. We are calculating all those risks. So all this calculation, you will not do the calculation in Security Plus, you will not do it in SSCP, but you do it in CISSP or CCSP. That's when you do calculation, when you want to do the calculation. Then you decide the treatment. The treatment we talked about, which the decision, this decision fall under the response you will give. You should like avoid, reduce, transfer, accept. In real life, your day-to-day, there's what we call plan of actions and milestone. So, which is part you have accepted it, those risks. You will manage them like that. They are not too crazy for you. They are manageable. So here we talk about qualitative that I just mentioned when it will be deciding based on high, medium, and low. So quantitative, this is dollar based, calculation. You assign amount of money to it, just like we're still going to be coming back to this thing in future. This is just like the first slide overview. If you look at this is another formula. The SLE is single loss expectancy. They're telling you that when that attack happened to your environment, what will be amount of money you will lose? So it depends on this asset value. If you say, like, for example, when we're talking about copyright or intellectual property, you say it worth $100 million. You will now look at it that in that area, how frequent is that thing has been over the years? Maybe in 10 years, it can only happen once. So that means that in 10 years, it happened once. That means you have, that's 12 times 10. That would be like 120 months, divided by the number of it. So in a month, that is the amount of money you lose. So the amount of money you lose in a month, want to know a year times 12, will tell you how much you lose in a year. So annual loss expectancy will not tell you, the single plus the annual rate of occurrence. You now multiply them together to now give you what will be the ALE, the annual loss expectancy. So you can see this is the formula. You may just see if it will come out in SSCP or Security Plus, it's just the formula. They will not ask you to calculate. It's only in the CISSP that you do calculation.
Sorry, Dr. Olu, I just want to tell you that it's less than a minute left before the call ends.
Yeah, that will be all for the day. Maybe we can just stop it right there.
Okay, and I have many questions to ask you. Okay, we'll do it next time.
Okay. Thank you, bro. Bye.
But Doctor, thanks for this class. And I just wanted to use 1 minute to say this quickly, given me that I have some little knowledge about it. The way you put it is very impactful and is a refresher for me. So I think